A happy week start to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and thank you very much for joining us. The weekend has really been a busy one with the Shan competition that is currently going on, and with Cameroon as the host country. So a lot of movements and a lot of activities taking place where the competition are ongoing. And once in a while in everybody's life, they go through stress, be it physical, be it emotional, be it in whatever form. Man must go through stress. But then it's not the end in its own. In tonight's edition, we'll be trying to find out ways in which you could overcome this stress, because it comes with a lot of difficulties and challenges. And at a certain point in time, some people do go sick out of that. And we are once more honored to have a wellness coach and the founder of Humanity at Heart International, Evelyn Tata Maya. We had her on Friday, and yeah, she is back again. Good evening to you, Evelyn, and thank you again for making our time to be there.
Good evening, Vanessa. It has always been a pleasure to talk with you and our televiewers out there. Good evening to televiewers, and once again to our technicians.
And once again to our technicians. Hope that you do not stress over the weekend.
It's unavoidable, but we try to manage it.
It's unavoidable, yes, but we try to manage it. Mangavena Shoes, good evening. Are you equally stressed up?
Stress of Vanessa, if I say no, it means I'm no longer a human being.
Okay.
So good evening, and good evening to our viewers. Just to say that we must live with it.
We must live with it, and yes, because we all are stressed in one way or the other, let us have the first part of the show. Good evening. If you are just joining us, you are watching Viewpoint, so relax and enjoy. In the first question, is the impact of stress on our health worth worrying about? Maya,
it is.
Is it worth?
It is. It is worth worrying about.
Financials?
From a layman's point of view, I think it is not.
It is not. And in the second question, are there ways we can manage stress? Financials?
Yes, Vanessa.
Yes. Evelyn?
Yes, there's ways we could manage that.
There are ways. Let us have the debate. On our health, what worrying about? Maya, you think that yes, it's worth worrying about? As a wellness coach, surely you work with a lot of people that come to you is not going and too stressed up. But then, what is stress all about? And does it really matter for us to worry about it?
Thank you, Vanessa. I would like to pick up with the definition of what stress is all about. Stress is simply the body's natural response to events or situations. It might be challenging situations around us. So in every human being's life, there are ways that the body responds to events out there. So before we could even go worrying whether it's affecting our health or not, it's better we understand how the human system actually functions as per the stress. So the human body is being made up of two systems. Let me just put it, our central nervous system, where we have the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. So when I mention the sympathetic nervous system, it simply means that it's our fight or flight response to situations around us. It means that our body is wired in such a way that if there is a situation in front of you, the body's response to that situation is either you will fight back or you are going to flee from it. And therefore, in that situation, many things happen in a twinkle of an eye that your eyes cannot even comprehend it. Meaning in everybody's life, there is always that fight or flight response to situations. Let me just give an example. Maybe I lock you up in a room and I release a tiger into that room. Obviously, there are two possibilities. It's either you will fight the tiger or you will look for a way out to run. And in this situation, you have hormones that are being released, the adrenaline and the cortisol. These are all stress hormones, which are not bad anyways for our system, because at that moment your eyes are wide open. If you see somebody that is scared, you see the eyes are obviously will be opened, and your heart will actually beat fast, and their hormones, at that moment your digestion stops because you cannot be frightened and your body is digesting at the same time. That is a stress that is good for our body to defend us from danger. And the dangers now come when we remain at this level of being stressed out, where these hormones are remaining at this level where it is not going down to the parasympathetic. Parasympathetic simply means your body is at rest and can digest the food. Sympathetic means you are in a fight or flight response. That's where it actually starts, where you are responding to situations. Like I can provoke you, the tendency for you to respond back, it means you are fighting back to me, or either you leave it at that. But the dangers and the impact on our health now comes when we remain at that level of sympathetic and we are not going down to the parasympathetic. That is where it impacts our health. Because imagine you are frightened. Your muscles are dilating because they want more blood to pump in so that energy will be released, because at that level your high blood pressure rises to enable you to fight because it needs energy. That's why your heart beats fast, because it has to dilate. Your eyes are dilating, everything is opening up, so that you need more energy to fight. Imagine the energy that is released. You know, glucose is energy, right? So that glucose at that level, if it doesn't come back, that lowers down to its normal state, you know the consequences. That's where our health is in trouble, because we are continuously tense. If you draw a rubber and you don't release it, obviously it's going to cut off. That is where the problem now comes.
So should we worry about it?
Absolutely. We should worry about if we continuously stay at the sympathetic system. At one moment you need to relax, you need to calm down. That's why when you're frightened, you need
you're faced with the situation.
You are faced with a situation, or you are being angered, or you have an emotion that is making your muscles to tense. You need to relax and you come back so that your food should be able to digest normally. Vanessa, if you are angry, believe me, it's either you are eating so fast or you will not eat at all. Thereby,
or some people will tell that they eat a lot when they are stressed.
Absolutely, stress eating. So that is where you must be so cautious that let me come back to the parasympathetic, so that my body should be able to digest the food that I've taken, so that it can absorb nutrients and prevent disease, because we need an immune system that is stronger to be able to fight disease.
All right, Maya, I would like to know from you, is it possible for someone to stress for nothing?
Of course.
But
like I said, the body responds to situations. You cannot be in an environment and tell me you will not stress out. That is our fight and flight response to situations. Even if you go back home and a child does something and you want to shout, you are already doing something that is stressing your muscles, because when you are shouting, you are already angry. Situations make you angry. Events makes you angry. You have families, you have colleagues that might make you angry. You have children at home. There are situations that will actually tense your muscles.
Thank you very much, Maya. Mangefenashus, in your point of view, stress is not worth worrying about.
That is why I said from a layman's point of view, and when you look at that systematic definition that Maya gives, or that Maya gave, I would simply put that stress is a situation beyond your control, a situation with consequences which are practically negative. And when I say that stress...
Not practically negative, because from Maya's point of view, I understand in some way there is good stress.
Yes, there is good stress. I remember I had a sister who, once she's happy, she cries. When she succeeds in her exams, she cries. When she succeeds in something, she cries. And the question now is, why are you crying? And then she will tell you, these are tears of joy. Now, to me, I would rather say the way of expressing her, expressing her emotions. Okay, but when I say that stress is not worth worrying about, at the beginning I said, like Maya said, you cannot live in fact, the stress is just, stressing up is just part and parcel of our being. You stress about what you will eat. You stress how you will get to your house today. You stress if tomorrow you will get to work. You stress tomorrow what happens if my child is sick. What happens if they happen to, I cannot pay my rent, I cannot do this. In fact, life is just stressing up. And at the end, you stress if you don't make it in life. At the end, you stress if I should die. And in fact, there is every second, if you have to think of stressing, in fact, you will not do any other thing. Because just the fact that, are you even sure that you will ever see tomorrow?
Yeah,
you even stress of that.
Stress.
I may even die tonight. So I'm afraid I may not sleep, because what happens if I just sleep and go? You see, when you talk about stress, it is just part and parcel of us. It's just our being. In as much as we are human beings. Remember, Socrates says, any life without trouble is not worth living. If you have a life that is just fluent, you are not a human being, you are a moron. Yes, or you are a child. Even a child at that tender age, that child has problems. Just the fact that the child wants to eat is already stressful. That's why the child cries. And somebody said, even the president, who is assumed to be, he's still stressed up. I mean, just take away the idea of stress up about the country. Just the fact that he's a president, he can practically be having what he may want, he's still stressed up. So if you want to think of carrying this stress into your head, in fact, you will not live. So when I say that it is not worth worrying about, I mean, just take it as, in as much as to live, you have to breathe. To live, you have to be stressed up. And when you make it part and parcel of you, I don't think that you will worry about it, because it's like eating and then you're complaining that you have to go to stool. If you don't want to go to stool, don't eat. If you don't want to stress up, don't live. Because living itself is stressing up. Worrying about it is when you make that stress the center of your being, it becomes a problem. But if that stress is, you just accept that, like somebody said, Vanessa, somebody told me, if you are living without debt, you are not living. To live, it means you must owe somebody. Because you must borrow from here. Borrowing is not necessarily money. Owing somebody is not necessarily money. You must borrow from here to use it here, borrow from here to use it here. That is life. You must be living with, I have to repay this. Repaying not necessarily financially, like I say. Maybe, like they say, a good turn deserves another one. I owe somebody. Maybe a good gesture he did to me. So that is life. And if you want to think that I want to live a perfect kind of life, then don't live under heaven. Go to where perfect life is, which is in heaven, where they tell us there will be no stress. That is in heaven. But in as much as we are here and you want to worry because you are stressed up with this or that or that or that, it will become a problem. But then if you accept
and
it as
detrimental to your health.
Of course, if you accept it as part and parcel of a human being, as a human being, there must be challenges. Even the Bible says, in life there will be challenges. But the problem, what matters is stand firm. Standing firm here is accept that, yes, to be a man, I must struggle to feed my family. I must struggle to take care of my family. I must struggle to meet my bills. I must struggle. That is and then when you make that a hail, that you have to carry it all on you, that is when it becomes a problem. But just stress from the level of being part and parcel of our human disposition, our innate being as a human being, is nothing to worry about.
It's nothing to worry about, and it's not inevitable. In the second part, are there ways we can manage stress? Maya.
Yes, Vanessa.
What are some of those ways? Or I'm sure there are many ways in which we can do that.
There are many ways. I really appreciate what Mange just said. I think he was trying to handle one of the ways to manage the stress by accepting.
Just accepting it.
Yes. Accepting and letting go is the first one. Because there are some conditions that you might not handle them. You just let them be. And there is another way too, that you need to also work on your lifestyle. From the first point that I made, if you are continuously tensed, and you are not accepting and letting go, like there's good and there's bad stress, and we all need this stress to succeed. That's why you wake up every morning and you want to come to work. it stimulates you, it motivates you. That's good stress, and we all need that. But stress becomes bad that needs to be managed when you are continuously in that tense mode, like Mange was just saying. So managing it is simply changing your lifestyle and practicing good breathing as well. I was just speaking yesterday, I think, with my brother. I remembered something my dad used to do that is now that I'm recalling that actually that was breathing technique. When he gets so annoyed or so angry or challenged with a situation, you see, he will take deep breath, and then he goes like
he inhales deep breath.
It helps. Because what we are doing now, you cannot see that you are breathing until you are taking a deep breath. And then you are relaxing. You can practice like 1, 2, 3 of those deep breathing. And then you see that before you even go to the 5th, you are already more relaxed with the situation. So, like he said, accept and let go. If you don't know how to accept it, you can highlight those points. And, you know, like, what is negative on my life? What am I doing that is so stressful? Am I not sleeping well? Am I not? And there is another way that we can avoid being stressed, which is good sleep. Quality sleep. It doesn't matter how long you are sleeping, but the sleep should be quality sleep. Why am I calling it quality sleep? I've suffered insomnia for like 4 years because I kept reading, I kept trying to catch up with things, I wanted to know more. And consequently, I could not sleep. So I have decided it's always intentional. Lifestyle is something you do intentionally. That when I'm supposed to go to bed at 10 p.m. and wake up at 5 a.m. And you practice that every day at the same time. I remember before we came up here, we were talking with Mange on why your prescription is maybe 7 in the morning, 2 p.m., and then 7 p.m. And then the doctor might tell you take it at those exact same times. It's the same thing with your sleep pattern. If you want to sleep at 10 p.m., make sure you are sleeping at 10 p.m. every day. And then waking up before sunrise at 6 a.m. Before you know it, your body is accustomed to that. And that time that you are sleeping, it is when your body is repairing from the dangers that it has gone throughout the day. Because, like I said before, when you're in a sympathetic nervous system, your body is at high blood pressure, your heart rate is increasing, everything is dilating, more hormones are being released to fight the dangers in front of you. But when you are asleep, your body is rejuvenating. Your body is repairing those cells that it had lost in the course of your fight and flight mode. So when you rest, your body is also resting and is digesting the food. And you know we live because we need nutrients to build up our immune system. And by so doing, when our immunity is built and boosted, we can fight disease. So if you have quality sleep, I think you can manage stress.
You can manage stress beautifully. So, but what are some of those consequences if you are constantly stressed up?
A human system, like I said before, we need our immunity to be strong enough because that's our fighting mechanism. If your immune system is weak, you are exposed to many diseases. This is January and we are talking of cervical cancer awareness. January is cervical cancer awareness month. I'm going to link this to the cervical cancer. Assume that your immune system is weak. Maybe you are HIV positive and then you are stressed out added to that. Your immunity has actually dropped. If you are not sleeping, sometimes we say we are sleeping, we want to go to bed, we have our gadget. Normally you are supposed to turn out all the lights 2 hours before you sleep. But you always find yourself scrolling down, you say I'm resting, you are scrolling down, and maybe you see a news that is not good over your life, you are stressed, your immunity is dropping. Because at that moment you are like changing the hormonal system because your body said, okay, this is the moment we want to release the hormones to digest the food. At one moment we are seeing you again being stressed up, the hormones are changing to adrenaline instead of something else. Now you are confusing your body and everything is upsetted in your body. And
that might likely lead to obesity, I think so.
Obesity, not just obesity. Stress leads to inflammation. Inflammation. And inflammation is what leads to the diseases, cardiovascular disease, stroke, cancers. All those are inflammatory diseases. So when you are continuously stressed out, you are leading to inflammation, and inflammation is leading to disease. And before you know it, mostly women suffer the consequences because they are mostly stressed out. They want to think of everything at the same time. That's why you see most of them having cervical cancer and all cancers.
And all cancers.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Manga Vanessa, what are some of those ways in which we could manage stress?
Vanessa, beside the question of accepting, like Maya said, I read something from one Christian. He wrote, Lord, give me the wisdom to know what I need to change in my life, the strength to change what needs to be changed in my life, and the grace to accept those I cannot change in my life. And when I read this, I saw a lot of, being, I call it that aspect of being a human being. There are certain times that I would want to be like you. Nature made me the way I am. I cannot be like you. But there are certain things in me that I need to change. There are certain things in me that can change. There are some that I need constant, like she says, you need to carry out a conscious activity, a conscious action, a conscious decision to change. And then there are others that you just need to accept that, well, this is me. You just need to accept that, well, I am in this situation. It's like we are in January, like she was saying, but I'm talking of January in terms of hardships. Immediately after the festive period, January seems to be one of the longest months in a calendar. And you would not, just because you saw somebody driving and entering a supermarket and buying in bulk, and you cannot even buy even a black wrapper, and you want to change situations. That is you. Accept that this is me. If not, you find yourself stressing up. Now, another issue is the question of, read something like trying to get used to some kind of an exercise that would deviate that tension in you. There are these imaginary monsters that we dress, that we see them, we practically put them in front of us or in our lives that do not exist. And all we need to do is, that's why I was saying that to live, you need to start, you must be stressed up in one way or the other. Once you have these imaginary monsters in front of you, just exercise yourself, get something doing, and it will burn down the stress in you, because it will deviate your attention. Remember, most of this stress, we go up, it's not because you are really faced with a real situation. You imagine that, what happens if I die tonight? What happened if I'm sleeping like this and this world collapses on me? What happened if this rain is falling like that and then the thunder strikes and I die? What happened if I'm entering in this car and we have an accident and all this? But then once you decide to do a different activity, you will deviate yourself from this kind of thought. It was like somebody who was thinking that they say that life after death will continue and you will live forever and ever, and you will be living and living and
you're sleeping and imagining.
Amen.
Yes.
So what you
Why
do
not
is
just
you start stressing up.
Mm-hmm.
What you do is engage in an activity. It would deviate you from such kind of thought, from such kind of imaginary negative thought, and then you find yourself forgetting. And once you're forgetting them, the stress dies down. Because if you keep stressing, you can stress for the whole life. You may not solve them. That's why I call them imaginary situations that we have them in our lives. And then, Vanessa, another thing is, somebody was saying that a problem once shared is halfway solved. At times we die with stress because we don't want to share it out. And that is where the role of counselors come in here. Counselors do not necessarily give you any tablet.
Mm-hmm.
They allow you talk.
Lucky enough, we have Maya here.
Correct. You vent out your worry, you vent out your anger on him or her. She's sitting and listening to you. And once you talk and talk and talk and finish and you are done, she now invokes from you, okay, what do you think that we should do? You come out with the answer from you, which means you had the answer. You just needed somebody to talk to. So most of the time when we are stressed up, it's good to share it with somebody. Tell somebody that this is what I'm suffering from. I'm going through this. I'm going through this. And in that way,
Not that the person will give you something to take or to come. No, just the fact that the person happened to listen to you, gave you a listening ear. It calms down the stress.
Yeah, there's still some few good people outside where you could see them and talk with them.
Actually,
yes. Or if you doubt anybody within your environment, just get a wellness coach to
and then ways to solve this. Vanessa, permit me think of ways not to solve this, because if you look at it now, the Western world has made it in such a way that there are practically, drugs for everything. They say once you are stressed up, take these drugs, and the drugs does not solve the stress.
It calms your nerves.
It calms your nerves, and these drugs always come with after effects. They have the consequences that you will live with.
But financial, I'll tell that the Western world, they pay more attention to such issues that in Africa we see it to be minute.
Vanessa,
Maya, how do you see that? Because in the Western world, they consider stress as a disease that needs to be managed.
Yes.
But they will not look at it that way.
And it's killing us. It's actually killing us because we are keeping it within. And like what Mange just said, we are not making use of our counselors. We are not making. Very few people know that you need to go and talk to a wellness coach or talk to a wellness counselor or talk to a counselor, because we are here to listen to you, to help you. Even humor, sometimes somebody comes to my office, I just make sure that you laugh it out. Some people hardly laugh. So it's actually a problem if you are not letting go of that problem, and it's actually weighing on you if you are not solving that problem. So it's something that it concerns you, it concerns me, it concerns everybody out there. If you are stressed out, call somebody that is confident to you and share. And if we also notice that stress, because people go to drugs, people take cocaine, people drink because they want to vent that stress, the consequences are terrible. You will be sick. You are creating more inflammation to your body, because at one moment it's always prepared to fight. That is where we are encouraging everybody. If you are stressed out, visit a wellness counselor. Speak out.
Speak out, go for a walk, and a lot more other things. Maya, January is known as the Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, and you're having an event coming up on the Saturday, the 23rd of January. So, what are some of the activities of the day? Where is it going to take place? Who are those that will take part?
Thank you, Vanessa. 23rd of January. We are going to continue from what we are just doing here, because we want to associate lifestyle to disease. How you can manage your lifestyle and prevent cervical cancer. We have talked mostly about cervical cancer awareness. We have been talking about it, but how is our lifestyle related to that? So on the 23rd, we'll be talking more on how to manage our lifestyle, take care of yourself, how to prevent cervical cancer through lifestyle, how to also raise your gardens and eat healthy food, how to be able to manage the stress that we are just talking about. So the event is not far from now. It's just on the 23rd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll have a lot of speakers that will be talking on a lot of things, and it's at the Centre de Formation Professionnelle here at BPCT.
BPCT, so all the women are
everybody, not just women. Everybody is stressed out. Everybody is involved. Mange, you should be there.
Of course, I will.
Everybody should be there.
Especially
women,
after this January.
Young girls.
Everybody is come and vent out your stress. We are going to be planting our garden, so you come and learn how to do that.
Humanity International is at heart, and on Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, just go out and vent out the stress. It's very important. Just relax. And Maya, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Anytime I'll be stressed up, I will just take a deep breath. Just do some practical at home, eh? Ladies and gentlemen, and to you all, our faithful televiewers watching us in and out of Cameroon. It has been a pleasure having you. Stay tuned to TBS Television. Tomorrow is another day. Do take care and stay safe.